Alright, so I've mentioned that I used to work in a store, and I think anybody who's worked in any kind of customer service or retail kind of setting will understand. Like you get it. But when you think about working at a cash register or something like that, you imagine, if you have no experience with this, you imagine helping people who act the way that you do when you're a customer. Like you go in, you pick out what you want, you buy it, and then you just say thank you, you're welcome, have a good day, you too, and then you leave, and everything's fine. Like it shouldn't be a big deal. But there's, I don't know, maybe 25% of the population is just completely bonkers. Like doesn't seem to understand how anything is supposed to work. They're just insanely rude or just actually crazy. So I thought it would be fun just to tell some of the stories. Well, we'll just start with one because if I try to go through all, it won't fit in one video. I'll be here forever. So one that really stands out to me. I worked in this store for like 6 years. There's I think 7 years. And I was a customer service person at like a copy and print store. So like I would ring up the customers, but I also did like the copy work and stuff like that. So we were in a pretty right in the middle of a city in a pretty densely populated area, which means you get all the crazy. And one time this lady came in. I don't know, she wasn't like really old, just this middle-aged lady. And she was like all in a hurry and all scatterbrained, which is so annoying. When you, if you go to get some copies made, just spend a second in the car before you go in. Make sure you have the thing you need copies of. Make sure your stuff's in order and you know what you need to get once you get in there. Just come on, it'll go so much smoother for everybody. So anyway, she gets in there, she's got all her stuff. And she's got this insane, complicated process she wants me to go through. First of all, I'm the only one in the store, because my manager at the time was just really bad at managing schedules, I guess, and would just leave me alone for an hour while he went to lunch every day, even though there were other employees that could have been there. Everybody else went to lunch, and it was just me. And I was fairly new still at the time, so this was kind of like, I still didn't even know how to do everything, but so she comes in and she's got all her stuff and she wants me to go through this insane, complicated process of like cutting things out and then taping them to other things and making copies and then cutting more things out and taping it and like taping things to envelopes. Like none of it made any sense. Like there's no reason anybody would need to do this stuff. And it took forever, and she kept changing her mind about what she wanted. It was just like documents and stuff. It wasn't even, I felt like I was doing arts and crafts, but it was just like documents, and I didn't read it or anything. I don't know what it was. But then she's like, I mean, this takes probably 15 minutes, and I guess she's expecting to pay like a few cents or something. But like, we charge based on time. So if I'm having to spend some time to do something other than just making your copies really quick, like we've got to charge for that. If I was an hourly employee, and I don't get any of that money. It's just how we do it. You have to pay for stuff. So I rang her up for like $5, which was way less than it should have been. But I was like, I just want to get this lady out of here. I just wanted her to pay. I'm tired of dealing with her. And then she is just like, no, it's gonna not be that much. Why would it be $5? And I was like, well, because we did all of this extra stuff and I have to charge for the time that I spent helping you with all of this stuff. And she's just like, no, you're trying to rob me. And I'm like, I'm not trying to rob, I don't get this money. She's like, you're trying to rob me. And she just like freaks out. And so, and when she runs out of the store, runs out into like the lobby area of the building. And so I'm like, well, geez, what do? I call the manager, and he's like on his lunch break off somewhere else. And he's just like completely unhelpful. He's just like, well, she's got to pay for it. I mean, people need to pay for the services we provide. She needs to pay for it. I'm like, okay, but you're not here, and she's freaking out. And I'm watching while I'm on the phone, I'm looking out the window into the lobby, and she's like stopping people and talking to them and like like really hurriedly running from person to person, like stopping people who are walking by. And I don't know what she's saying because I can't hear her. I'm like, oh, this is nuts. I don't know what's going on. And then, so I hang up with the manager and I'm like, whatever, I guess I've got to deal with this on my own. So she comes back in and she's with the security guy who I know pretty well at that point. And she's literally saying to him as she walks through the door, these kids with their sex and their drugs and their rock and roll, like, she really said that. I've never heard anybody say that for real before. She really said that, like, being completely serious. And the security guard's, like, he's looking around and he thinks somebody, like, I found out later, she told him somebody was trying to rob her. That somebody being me. That I was trying to rob her for $5. And he's looking around for somebody, like, with a gun or somebody trying to rob the place. And she's, like, talking to him, like, he eventually figures out that she's talking about me. And he's like, okay, he's not trying to rob you. What's going on here? And so eventually she just, like, he tells her to get her stuff and just go. I don't even know what I ended up charging her. I charged her like $2 or something just to get her out of there. And then he said later, and this, this other girl who worked in a different office in the building told me, she was going around stopping everybody who came by, telling her that you were trying to rob her. And everybody would just kind of look in and be like, okay, whatever, this lady's obviously nuts, and it just kept going. And it was just like, oh man. So then, after she leaves, I look on the counter and she left some of her stuff, some of her documents that she was getting copied and whatever. So I go look at it, and it's an apology to a lawyer for harassing him, like, for leaving harassing voicemails or inappropriate voicemails. I don't remember exactly what it said. For leaving messages on his voicemail. It's just like, yep, of course that's what it was. That's great. Alright, so I may tell some other stories. Hopefully I can remember more. It's been a while, but there are some that definitely stand out as being crazy. But I think that was probably the worst one. So if you have crazy stories from any kind of customer service experience, I would love to hear them. Please let me know in the comments.